Warning, this podcast may contain themes of eating disorders, depression, anxiety, mental health, and other sensitive topics. Viewer discretion is advised. Resources will be linked in the description box.
Hi, my name is Chelsea.
Hi, my name is Caroline.
Hi, I'm Celia.
And this is
BonCon Talks Wellness.
I am a second-year Bonner Congress representative and a senior human services and counseling major.
This is actually my first semester as a BonCon representative. I'm very excited. And I'm currently a junior here at Lindsay, and I'm double majoring in human services and counseling and psychology.
This is my first year as a BonCon. I'm a sophomore here at Lindsay, and I'm a nursing major. So our topic today is what is wellness as a whole? And we know that it can be defined many different ways, and you'll be able to tell us what your definition of wellness is when we do our journal challenges and our module challenges as well. But this is our definition, and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right.
Bear with us, guys.
It's our first one.
So to start off, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about what the Bonner Foundation's definition is. And they include 3 components of wellness, and that is well-being, thriving, and resilience. Well-being being characteristics of positive mental health that are measured by purpose in life, social relationships, feelings of efficacy, and optimism. Thriving being well-being in multiple areas such as physical, emotional, social, psychological, and the resilience just being the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress. And I thought this was a really good, well-rounded definition because it's quite different than just what we usually think about wellness, which is just good health or having an actively pursued goal.
What is wellness to you? So for me, wellness is something that we choose to pursue for the benefit of our health, whether it's physically, spiritually, mentally, or emotionally. I like to read a lot, and as a nursing major, we don't get a lot of downtime, and it can be stressful. So for me, my reading time, my time that I spend outside hiking and doing things in nature, that's wellness for me. That makes me feel better. That always kind of calms me down and brings me back. That grounds me, and so that for me, that's a big part of my wellness. I like to cook. I like to read. I like to listen to music. Just things that calm me down, that ground me, that remind me hey, it's okay to freak out, but we also have to be able to move from that. We have to find things that'll get our minds off of it for a little bit so we can recollect and then come back.
I'm going to agree with Celia. I think I don't really cook very much. Anyone that knows me personally knows that. I need to improve my cooking skills. But wellness to me would be spending time with my family, friends, my fiance. I love to read, and I actually really love to color. I have a bunch of adult coloring books, and that always, after a really rough day or a stressful day, just sitting down, watching Netflix, watching Walking Dead, and coloring. I know that seems silly, but it really does help. So that's what I do to practice wellness.
I feel like mine's kind of pretty similar. And usually I just try to go based off of what I'm feeling that day. If I've just had too much social interaction, sometimes wellness is just giving myself some alone time or some time to not think about school, just what you all said, watching Netflix, reading a book, relaxing, going outside. And wellness too can just be if you were fortunate enough with human services going to therapy or just treating yourself to something that's maybe financially expensive, but putting yourself first in that way.
Mm-hmm. I like how you pointed that out. I definitely agree with that because it's not a good habit of mine, but I really like to shop. And sometimes shopping or just going to stores by myself and just looking through the racks, that calms me down. Mm-hmm. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. I also agree, being able to do things by myself and just to where I can think and be in my own thoughts and not have to worry about having somebody there. Not that I don't love to hang around my friends and hang around my family, but something as simple as going to a coffee shop and journaling or reading my book, things like that always just make me feel so much better. We know that everybody views wellness differently. People practice it differently. some people, you know, they like to go out and party and stuff like that for their wellness. That could not be me, but you know, if it makes them feel better, if it calms them down, like, that's cool, you know. So you do not have to sit here and agree with everything, and you can call us crazy for some of the stuff that we do, but you know, we all understand, like, you get stressed, and your wellness is how you take care of yourself.
I think like that is the really cool aspect of wellness, is that there's so many different interpretations of wellness for so many people. Like me, I would not go out and party. Like, I'd rather stay home, lay in bed, watch movies, you know. But for other people, it's going out, being social, being active. And I just think it's really cool how such different dynamics can still calm people down.
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like it definitely depends on just like personality styles, or just like different experiences that people have that can kind of shift like what makes them feel comfortable or uncomfortable. I feel like a lot of times wellness is like packaged as like a one size fits all, but it varies as much as just an individualized experience.
So most of the people who are watching this are probably Bonner scholars. So we're gonna like discuss like why it affects our service and how does it impact us as Bonners. Like, how does our wellness impact our service? You know, because we all get stressed and we all have bad days. Like, class can be crazy and we could be thinking about that while we're serving. So we're gonna talk about how it impacts us.
Yeah, so that's a really good point to bring up. And even though wellness is not one of our like 6 main common commitments, it's still mentioned in the Bonner Foundation and the Bonner Handbook, because it's, like you said, such an important part to our service. It's especially important for us to effectively and efficiently serve our communities. If we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not going to be able to take care of other people as effectively. It's like, you know, the analogy of like the like pouring out your cup, but if you're not refilling your cup, you're not going to be able to continue pouring out to other people. And the Bonner Foundation really stresses that. They say that it is important that Bonner students and staff members develop and incorporate a balanced approach to managing life. And that can be really difficult for Bonners because we're typically overachievers. We are busy with classes, Bonner, sometimes other organizations. But wellness is such an important part so that we're not getting ourselves burnt out and that we're also still serving our communities effectively.
I agree with what you said. I know that all of us in Bonner and all of you watching this, when we go to our service sites, we want to give 110%. We don't want to fail. We want to be on top of everything. But at the end of the day, if you're not taking care of yourself, not doing things for yourself, when you go to your service sites and you're helping others, you're not going to do it effectively.
Yeah.
So wellness definitely plays a big part into our everyday life. If you're not taking care of yourself, your classes won't go right, your personal, social relationship, service, just wellness plays such a big impact into every aspect of a person's life.
Yeah, and also as a Bonner, you know, a lot of us go and work at the schools, and whether we see it or not, those children look up to us. So if we're not there giving our 100%, they're going to be like, okay, well, she's not able to give her 100%, I don't have to give mine because it's okay. When we really want them to look up at us and be like, oh, I strive to be like that one day. I strive to help my community too. And so as a Bonner, you know, we really have to maintain our wellness so that, you know, we're able to be happy around those kids. We're able to give them our full 100% support, you know, things like that.
I agree. I like how you mentioned the school systems. I know that Bonner, we serve ranging from ACPC to the high school. Those are completely different age ranges, but each student or each age is going to look at us differently if we're not being positive, being kind, genuinely trying to help them from all the way to preschool to seniors. They're going to interpret it differently, and at the end of the day, it's still going to affect them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And even too, like just whenever we take care of ourselves, we can also potentially teach like those younger kids how to take care of themselves too, because they'll eventually be in our positions, and we'll need somebody to look up to about wellness and how to take care of themselves.
we definitely want them to enjoy it when we're around, rather than just be like, oh, well, she's coming into my class, she's always so sad, or something like that. We want them to be happy that we're there.
Yeah.
Our next topic is like the language about wellness, and an old Bonner that helped us with this module. We really wanted to point her out and like talk about her work, because she did phenomenal when she explained this. So
I think the first word that usually is correlated with wellness is diet. While for some people, dieting or watching what they eat can be a part of wellness, that doesn't mean that it's right for everyone. So I definitely think that you have to watch your language around the topic with wellness, especially the word diet, because some people, that's not their version of wellness. Their version of wellness might be, like I said, reading a book or hanging out with friends. It's still wellness and it's still benefiting them.
yeah, exactly. You know, so many people relate food to wellness, and that's really not all of it. You know, you could be eating really, really healthy but still feel terrible, or you can eat really, really healthy and feel good. Like, it really just depends on your preference, you know. And so some people might not want to say, oh, well, I'm on a diet for my wellness because I have to. Like, no, it's what you feel comfortable doing is your wellness.
And it's definitely something that like people have to keep in mind, especially if they have experience with like either disordered eating or an actual eating disorder. I know a lot of times that can make it more complicated if they're trying to live a wellness lifestyle, but they're having a negative mindset about dieting, and it may not be what's best for them in that moment. Like you said, that's a very important thing to keep in mind. And it's typically, I feel like it's typically packaged in like the general idea of wellness, just because it's something that's, you know, marketable, and something that's that can be easily attainable, but it's definitely something that can benefit everybody.
I definitely think that on the topic of wellness, being healthy is centered around it, and being healthy is like in pop culture, it's being skinny, having abs, eating salads all the time, you know, not indulging in sweets. And typically that's not what the true meaning of being healthy or wellness is. Like me, I don't eat salads, but I still consider myself healthy, you know? So it honestly just depends on the person, and I think that we definitely need to stray away from the idea of being healthy and wellness as being skinnier or being a certain way.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, you can still have wellness and be well without doing like all of those things you mentioned, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I do not like the taste of vegetables. So if you ever see me eating a vegetable, it's a bad day. I'm gonna read Emma's work here. It's really, really good, and I really liked what she said. She said, a diet is simply what you or any animal, honestly, habitually eats. For some people, this is vegan or vegetarian. For others, this means being aware of sugar intake. However, it's a sustainable habit. It is not an attempt to change your body, only to nourish and fuel it to help you live life to the fullest. Your diet should support you, not shrink you.
No, I really like what she said. Yeah, definitely. That kind of reminded me, like, I've heard people talk about, you know, your body, you need to take care of it. It's taking you through day to day. And if you want to treat your body with chocolate every now and then, do it. It got you through the day. You know, or if you want to treat your body with a salad or a protein bar, do it. It's your body. Do what you want. I just feel like so many people feel like they have to eat a certain way, or go to the gym. You know, not everyone has to do that. So I definitely agree with what she said.
Yeah, it's so important just to like listen to like what your body needs like day to day, and not, like you said, dictate it like, okay, I have to have this, this, and this every day, and these things can only be for certain occasions, but it's gonna benefit you in the long run just to listen to like what you truly need.
Yeah, it's okay to go out and get ice cream after you had a bad day, or to get a hot chocolate because you want one. Like, it's definitely okay to do that, because everybody does it. We all crave that chocolate in one way or another, not really meaning chocolate, but something that is good for them, something that they enjoy eating. And so, you know, me, that's one of my favorite things to do. I would go out and get ice cream right now if I could. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do for myself after a long day. The next word we're going to talk about is fit. This, I feel like, is such a very sensitive topic for a lot of people because they feel like they have to, you know, be skinny and they have to have abs and all of their muscles toned for them to look good, and that's definitely not true at all.
I agree with you on that. Like me, like I'm just a smaller, petite person. Like I'm 5 foot, you know, and I've always been told, oh, you need to eat a cheeseburger, you need to eat more, you need to do this, you need to do that. It goes both ways. Just because somebody sees me that I'm smaller, it does not mean that I'm happier or better. Everyone still has their own issues. So I definitely think being fit, like people can look at me, even though I'm small, they don't think that I'm fit. They think I need more meat on my bones.
Yeah.
It just goes both ways.
Yeah, like, I know that something that people are becoming aware of, like, more recently is just that you cannot dictate how healthy somebody is just, like, on the way they look. And another, like, big movement is the HAES, Health at Every Size movement. Because different sizes are going to be healthy for different people. Not everybody's going to be able to maintain abs and still be healthy, or especially for women, they may lose their menstrual cycle. For men, it may require things that are unhealthy, like using steroids. So it's definitely important just to keep in mind that everybody's made to maybe be like in a certain range of size, but not everybody's going to look the same. It's just unrealistic.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's definitely true because, you know, we're all born differently. We're all built differently. And so, like, when it comes down to even, you know, race, certain races are bigger, some are smaller. You know, it really does not matter. You don't have to look a certain way to be fit. It's whatever your body is comfortable with, you know, because those models out there who are like super duper skinny, I don't know if they'll ever feel great, but that's okay, you know, like you don't have to look like that to be perfect. You really don't.
Yeah. And that's like, not to be too personal, it's something that has taken like a long time for me to learn and still learning, just that not everybody's going to be healthy at one size, and it's perfectly fine if you're not a super skinny 6 foot tall model, because it's not attainable for everybody.
Yeah. No, I think like especially social media in today's society is so prevalent, and like I'll scroll through my Instagram and I'll see like Kendall Jenner or Kylie Jenner or like Hailey Bieber. Like I see all these models, and that I probably should not be following them, but like seeing that, it makes me think about myself in a negative way, and I know that it is not attainable. They're probably being forced to be on a diet, go to the gym so many days a week, and I should be thankful and lucky enough that someone is not pressuring me or forcing me to do that. That I basically have free will, because I feel like some of them, I mean, they have to do this to keep their jobs, and that's not fair to them either.
Yeah, you truly don't know like what people have to go through to attain something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, we all probably go through it. Like, we all probably look at ourselves and we want something different. But in reality, you don't have to be any different to be perfect. And I've struggled with that a lot too. I've always thought like, oh, I need to go to the gym and I need to get this beach body because I'm going on this cruise, or I'm going to the beach, so I need to look a certain way. Like, you don't have to do that. You are perfect the way you are. And it's okay to not look like a 6'4" skinny model. Like, that's perfectly okay, I promise.
Also, not to get too personal, but my entire life, like, I've always been a certain size. And you know how when you go to college, everybody's like, you're going to get the freshman 15. You know, that has such a negative connotation to it. That phrase just needs to be shut down. Who cares if it's the freshman 5, 10, 15, 20, 25? We are going into a new phase of our life. Your size of your jeans is not going to be the same as it was when you were in high school. I'm sorry, but I remember being so scared to go into freshman year and gain the freshman 15, and guess what? I did. It does not matter. So for anyone that is currently going through that right now, do not worry about it, because here I am, 15 pounds heavier, and I do not care.
Yeah,
And you shouldn't either. Yeah.
Very, very
Sorry,
good.
that makes me so upset hearing about the
It's
freshman
okay.
15.
No, trust me. And also, like, for me, the freshman 15 looked a little different. When I came to college, I stressed myself out so much, I lost 15 pounds. And so every time I would go home, I would hear, oh, you need to gain weight. You really need to eat something. Like, you need to stop starving yourself. Like, things like that. And, you know, it's not that I'm starving myself, because I'm not. But I'm in a very stressful time in my life. We all are. We're all college students. We have hard classes. We work, you know, things like that. So it's okay for the freshman 15 to look different for you, because it did for me. I lost 15 pounds, and that's still okay. I'm still okay.
And I feel like my experience was very different, because for the majority of college so far, I'd been underweight, but that was due to just struggling, honestly, with anorexia for a long time. But I've been able to heal a lot and gain like 30 pounds, but it's been really healthy for me. And I've been able to be more efficient, my body runs better, and yeah, it just looks different for everybody.
I thank you for sharing that, because I too have honestly dealt with the same thing. Like when I was growing up, I would always hear, "You're so little, it's so adorable, I wish I was your size." And hearing that praise about being so small, and I was underweight, I was severely underweight, I was malnourished. And hearing people praise me for being so small made me think in my head, oh, the only way that I can be pretty or people find me attractive is if I stay this size. So then when I got to college, like Celia, I got really stressed out and I dropped tons of weight. Like the weight that I was my freshman year of college, I'm so ashamed to say, because first of all, I felt like I still had to eat very little, and then I was in this new environment with stress. Then I started going to therapy, worked on my eating habits, and learned how to deal with my time and my schoolwork better. I gained the 15 pounds, and I am the happiest that I have been my entire life. So another part of wellness is just do things for yourself. It does not matter what size you are.
Yep.
So yes, I
Thank you
definitely,
for sharing that.
yeah, I definitely relate to you.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like that's something that a lot of people go through in college, and if you do too, you know, that's something that hopefully we can provide more information on, or just comfort, like throughout this podcast series.
So the last one is healthy means small, and I feel like we've already hit that because we pretty much just did our fitness and that one mixed together. But you know, like Emma says in this, like most people struggle with the idea that to be healthy you need to be small. You should be skinny, and there's no way to be healthy and overweight, and that's not true. Not true at all. It's what your body feels comfortable at. That's what wellness is. That's how healthy is.
I just thought of this. Another point to bring up with like healthy means being small. Personally, I have hypothyroidism. So my thyroid, it doesn't produce enough hormone. If I'm not a nursing major, so I might not be saying that correctly. But basically, in my mind, my thyroid is messed up, and that causes me to be tired all the time. It causes my weight to fluctuate. So when we see a person walking down the street, and they're either super thin or they could be overweight, it might not just be their diet. It could literally be something like their thyroid, or just something that we don't know what's going on. So we always need to be aware of that consciously in our mind.
Yeah, and I really like too what is written here, that there's no such thing as black and white in wellness, and it kind of relates to that, and just like our language with like good, bad, healthy, unhealthy. We really never know like what people are experiencing, like you said, and there's so many different ways that healthy looks for different people, and just labeling it into like one box versus another box is just very unrealistic. It's very simple, but it's not how our natural world works.
So that concludes our wellness topic for this podcast. Sorry again, it might be a little rough, our first one. Next time we're going to be a little bit more collected and prepared, but We're going to talk about our module challenge and the journal entry that we talked about at the beginning of the podcast. So with the module challenge, we're going to have one of these as well as a journal prompt every single module. That way you guys also feel like you're getting involved with it, and you guys can share with us what you're doing for your challenge, like whether it's going for a walk when we talk about physical wellness, or reading a book when we talk about mental wellness. You know, anything that you do for that type of wellness, I guess. So the module challenge.
Okay, so the module challenge for, I guess, technically this week's episode or this week's podcast is identify what habits or behaviors that you would like to implement into your daily routine that would promote personal wellness. Choose one of these habits or behaviors and set a goal for yourself to practice this habit or behavior at least once within the next week. Then, increase your goal by gradually increasing the occurrence of this chosen habit or behavior until you can practice it regularly. Repeat this process with each habit or behavior you have identified. If you find that one of these identified habits or behaviors does not promote your personal wellness, reevaluate your list and remove what may be unnecessary or not beneficial. This is entirely a personal journey, and only you can determine the pace you need to take and what habits or behaviors will truly help you. I would like to say, I know that classes are starting back and it can get really stressful. I highly encourage you all to do these module challenges. It's entirely based upon wellness, and it gives you a break from your schoolwork. So it gives you time to just sit down, listen to our podcast, do the challenges, do the journal prompts. If you're feeling like you're constantly doing schoolwork, do this. It's a nice break.
Yeah. It's so easy to neglect ourselves, but really whenever we take even 15 minutes to take care of ourselves, that can help everything else fall into place.
Also, with these, as being bonders, we love to reflect on everything. And so this will give you the opportunity to start out and be like, okay, this is what I do now. And then at the end, when we're done with all of them, you can reflect back and be like, okay, this is how I've grown. And also, this will also a lot. This will be a good way for you to implement wellness into your routine, your daily routine, your weekly routine, whatever you choose to do, and it'll help you build from that. And that way you'll be more successful with your wellness throughout the entire semester, and hopefully for the rest of your college and life journey.
So before we end, we just wanted to let you all know that in our description we will have access to our journal prompts, and then also some resources in case you were in need of any assistance, access to different types of crisis hotlines and resources, things relating to a variety of things such as suicide, substance abuse, even neglect or domestic violence hotline. So you'll have access to all of that, different ways to reach that resource either online or by phone call. And for now, that is all that we have.
Yeah. So our catchphrase for this entire podcast, and we hope that you become very, very familiar with, is
a happy person has a healthy mind.
Okay. See you all next time.